commentary.
There's this dirty little secret about leadership that they really don't teach you in business school.
Yeah, the easy decisions stop landing on your desk.
Exactly. They get delegated downward, and what you're left with are just the messy ones, the ambiguous ones where you simply cannot know if you're making the right call.
Right, the higher you go, the fewer solvable problems you actually see.
Yeah, so today's deep dive is into some fascinating sources on exactly that. We're looking at a framework for surviving volatility, and our mission here is to unpack why traditional analysis fails in complex environments.
And it really explores a critical shift in mindset, moving from trying to be right about a direction to managing the size of the commitment.
Which sounds kind of wild, right? Like, if I'm a CEO, isn't it my job to be right? If I tell the board, I don't know if this will work, but I've managed the bet size, I feel like I'd be laughed out of the room.
It definitely feels that way. But when we face high-stakes uncertainty, we usually just freeze. We start looking for a crystal ball. And interestingly, the sources point out that the best place to study this isn't in the boardroom.
It's on the trading floor.
Exactly. Traders deal with this every second. Greed, fear, ambiguous data. It's a perfect laboratory for decision-making under pressure.
Right, and in that lab, you see two main schools of thought for predicting the future. First, you have fundamental analysis.
Which is the logical approach. You look at underlying drivers like economics, geopolitics, supply chains.
You try to build a model of reality to predict what happens next. But the sources highlight a massive flaw here.
The map is not the territory. Reality is just too complex to model completely.
Right, you're dealing with feedback loops.
Variable A affects variable B, which changes variable A again. By the time you've built your model, the world has moved on. It's like trying to drive a car by only looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, you can perfectly explain why you crashed after it happens.
But it doesn't help you steer.
So if the data is lagging, people switch to the second method, which is technical analysis, looking at charts, price behavior, crowd psychology.
Which is essentially studying the footprints of the herd.
Yeah.
But the flaw there is it can just resemble gambling. It offers absolutely no guarantees.
So if neither fundamental nor technical analysis guarantees accuracy, what do? Just guess.
No, you change the variable you control. You pivot. You stop asking direction questions like, will this market go up or down?
Right, the yes or no question.
Exactly. And you start asking size questions. Specifically, how much am I willing to risk to find out?
So you're shifting the focus from prediction to exposure.
Precisely. Traders call this a stop loss. You decide, before you place the trade, that if the price drops to a certain point, you get out.
No questions asked.
You define your acceptable loss while you're still thinking rationally.
See, that's the hard part in a corporate setting. We don't have a big red sell button. If I launch a project and it starts wobbling, the instinct is actually the opposite.
The sunk cost fallacy.
Yes. We think if I just put a little more budget in or give it another month, I can turn it around.
And that is how you blow up the account. This is why setting predefined limits is so critical for leaders. You have to set the boundary before acting.
You say, we will commit $50,000 or 3 months to this experiment, and if we don't see results, we kill it.
Because the ultimate goal is survival. No one wins every round. The discipline is ensuring that a single loss doesn't remove you from the game.
It totally reframes the decision. You stop asking binary questions and structure things so you remain positioned to compete in the next round.
Our sources included that famous George Soros quote. He said, it's not whether you're right or wrong that's important, but how much money you make when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong.
It strips away the ego. You admit you might be wrong, but you ensure you've only lost a calculated chip, not the whole stack.
High-level leadership isn't about clairvoyance. It's about strategic commitment levels.
So for everyone listening, here is a provocative final thought to mull over. If the goal is purely survival to the next round, how does that change the way you define winning in your current project? Something to chew on. Thanks for diving in with us.